A very good morning to one and all present here. Am I audible?
Good morning, ma'am. Yes.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. I understand there are about 5 students in the class online today. Are we expecting some more students? What was the turnout in the previous session? Any idea?
I'm not sure, ma'am.
Okay. All right, just let's wait for a minute or two and then we will definitely start. In the meanwhile, I will introduce myself. I'm Dr. Sneha. I'll be handling your session today on employee engagement, which is part of human resource management, a very important topic. And I think a couple of times I might be meeting you. Otherwise, I think usually Ajay Abraham sir usually handles this class. So I understand a couple of you are working professionals, or if I'm not wrong, all of you are. Could I have a quick info on the student background? If anybody would like to introduce yourself. So could I know the companies that you all are working for? You could just mention the companies.
Dheeraj here.
Yes, Mr. Dheeraj.
I work for Concentrix.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
I worked with them for the past 1 year now.
All right.
I'm handling the account management for Concentrix globally.
Okay, very nice. Glad to meet you. Yes, so on this fine Saturday morning, I'd like to take you through employee management topic in HRM. And I'm sure some or the other way, each and every one of you are or may be connected to some sort of an outcome of employee engagement in any corporate company. This is considered as one of the most important elements. So we will definitely run through this module today. Yeah, before that, I hope the required participants have joined in. I see some more students logging in. Yes, that's easily about 11 to 12 participants who have joined in. Let's wait for just some more time and we will commence the session immediately. All right. As I already introduced myself, I'm Dr. Sneha N. I've been in the academic line for the last 10 years, and I've had an industry exposure of 2 years. And my line of specialization is marketing, tourism studies, and also related to research. And I really take quite a lot of interest in human resources subject as well, because I always deal with different kinds of students on a daily basis. So it's quite overwhelming sometimes or challenging as well, but it's very interesting to meet different people on a daily basis. So managing people, I've led a lot of teams. I've had to even recruit and taken a lot of people for my departments. I've worked in colleges such as Mount Carmel College, where I was heading the department there, and in other institutions like Christ University. And of course, now I'm associated with Christo Jayanti College. And it's been a very wonderful journey dealing with this particular academic line. And I try my best to bridge the gap between the, industry and the academics for my students. Having said that, I would definitely, keeping in mind that you all are working professionals, I will try my best to handle this topic, which is, very useful to you, and you could take it forward to the next level. Please allow me to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Also, I hope everyone has joined, and I'm not sure if I will get a status of if anybody is waiting in the room. And if anybody who's not able to join the room, and if you have a group together or something like that, please do let me know. I will go back and check. I'm not sure if I could see that once I start sharing my screen. Yes. So as I informed you, today's topic is on employee engagement. And let us first understand the fundamental concept of what exactly employee engagement is all about. It refers to a state of an emotional attachment of an employee that he or she has with an organization. By saying this statement, I'd like to bring your attention to the fact that an employee is said to be either highly engaged or negatively engaged, or at least somewhere there. But the most suitable proposition for any organization is to have employees who are always highly engaged. This is something which is going to be very beneficial for the organizations, as research studies have proven that, employee engagement is definitely going to directly or indirectly affect the organization's productivity and also the profitability of an organization. Why is this such a crucial element in an organization? Why are we studying about this subject today? Because it has been observed that many managers today are facing the challenge of getting or retaining highly engaged employees. There are many occasions when it has been observed due to various surveys and polls that 75% of the employee workforce is not engaged in the organization. Now, that's quite an alarming number. And that easily it is understood that only 15% of the employees are engaged. So if an employee is fully engaged, he or she is fully absorbed and encouraged to perform their task beyond what is expected or beyond what is typically expected of the job role. So if there is somebody who just does a bare minimum of what is expected of their role and they would leave their work on a daily basis, then automatically that kind of an employee is not fully engaged. They will not be contributing to the vision and mission of the organization. So these kind of employees will end up to be a kind of a liability for an organization. So to sum up, if I have to explain you the concept of employee engagement, we are referring to the kind of attachment and a sense of an emotional connection that an employee has towards an organization. Now, there are various definitions over the net about employee engagement, but mostly they're trying to refer to the positive attitude that an employee has towards an organization. All the positive elements, whether how enthusiastic an employee is towards his or her organization, because we need to be an asset who is contributing to the reputation and growth of the organization. So that is why these days employee engagement is being measured by various companies of the world, and the numbers are not always very promising. And this makes the HR department of a company to work very hard in order to ensure that they are employing various strategies to increase the employee engagement rate, because it is directly related to the organization's growth, productivity, and profitability. So apart from just the money, so of course, a very good salary package is going to kind of motivate employees, but that's not the only criteria. There are other elements which is going to definitely going to impact or influence why an employee is going to engage in a certain level in a particular company. So if we notice that there are various other important factors, which I'll be listing out now. So the first thing is employees' trust in the company's leadership. So if an employee believes that, yes, my top level management or, the CEO, the founder, the thinking tank, the strategic team, anybody who is in the top ladder is definitely going to steer the company in the right direction. If that kind of trust is there in each and every employee, automatically each and every employee will be geared up towards performing better and will be actively contributing towards the company. Second, employee relationships with the management teams, supervisors, etc. So what is the kind of relationship that the subordinate has with their supervisors? Is it a decentralized kind of leadership? Is it any kind of relationship where the employee is free to share his or her opinions or maybe constructive feedback? So what's the kind of relationship? Is it open? Is it closed? Or is there no scope of any kind of conversations or feedback sharing? That also would make a person either actively engaged in the company's affairs or probably take a back seat and just be a passive observant. Also, another reason what would make an employee engage at a certain level, whether it's positive or negative, would be the kind of pride that the employee takes to be part of the company. So there is a sense of belongingness sometimes that an employee has. He or she tries to belong to the company, saying that, no, this is my company, this is my department. If I don't do, who else will do? So if they take a sense of a pride, automatically there is an ownership, and that will definitely trigger and a positive engagement towards the company. Only when there is a sense of an attachment and a belongingness, and they take pride in being a certain company's employee, right? So these are some of the factors which would alter the levels of engagement with the company. Is the next slide visible, dear students?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. So the next topic, subtopic that I'd like to discuss is about the types of employees based on the level of engagement. So as I've been telling you about active engagement and employees who are not engaged. So let us see some of the types that are present in most organizations, right? So the first type is actively disengaged. Now, these are the people who are unhappy in an organization and they spread unhappiness in the organization. So they are somebody who carry this negativity so much, and it is so strong that it is going to create a sense of a toxic environment. They will end up provoking and even convincing other people to sometimes not perform or even to an extreme extent leave their job. This is sometimes mostly seen when an intern maybe comes into a company. Not every senior employee may give positive words of encouragement that may deter an intern to even join to the company. They may, the senior employees might have enjoyed the golden period of the company, but they might kind of dissuade others to join the company by telling negative things about the company. So this could be one example, or else one particular employee is not happy for various reasons, and this general temperament that such kind of employees have, they always have something bad to say, and they may be very vocal in sharing their displeasure about what is happening in the company, and that kind of negativity sometimes would spread. And most often you may also notice that in some companies such people may be in the higher ranking order, they may be very well respected in a company also, and that is why he or she would have a decent amount of standing in front of their colleagues, because they really look up to such people. And with that kind of a setup, obviously when they have certain kind of things which they're not okay with, there might be a group of people who would tag along with such people, and this may spread in an organization. You might have noticed that there are people who will not do the work, and they may not let others also do the work. So you might have examples like this, or maybe your own personal experience, where you find that even if you are positively charged up, there's somebody around you who's probably always pulling you down. We'll definitely have a Q&A session in the end, and you could probably share your thoughts then. The next type of employees that we have is the engaged lot, and this is the most preferred type of employees. So they are somebody who's extremely passionate. They are very well aligned to the company's mission, and organizational objectives. They are here to contribute and create value addition to the company. They are somebody who would bring in change and innovation. They are they are somebody who is going to definitely connect with the company at a level which is only meant for future growth. Now, these kind of engaged employees, when they're so preferred, they also will positively motivate the other employees. They are team players. They would always probably even turn a negative person into somebody who's extremely positive, right? So they are the most sought after kinds of employees. You would notice that these will become the voice of the company. They are somebody who will be always be put in the forefront, because they'll always have something nice to see. Even when something goes wrong, they will take the ownership and try to talk on the side of the management, so that they are going to give their 100% support in the organization. And they will not only try to be known for maybe certain fault finding mechanisms, but they are also the solution providers. Even if they stand for the company, with the company, they will try to correct and damage control certain things what has happened, and they will definitely take the company to the next level. So engaged employees are passionate, and they are somebody who will always work towards the growth of the company. Such kind of employees believe that the growth of the company is also their personal growth, and vice versa. So that is definitely the kind of employees we all should be, and not get carried away by the actively disengaged employees. Moving on to the next type of employee, who are the not at all engaged category of employees. Now, they are somebody who put in time. They do the bare minimum that is needed for the job. They like their job, so they will only do whatever is necessary for the job, but they will not put in their energy and passion. They will not do anything extra other than what is the job description of the role. So they will not even contribute anything to the organization's objective. They may be positive or negative in their outlook, and in terms of their opinion about the organization, sometimes they may be neutral, but they are definitely not proactive, and will wait for instructions from their supervisors. So they only will follow orders. If a task is given to them, they will do it, they'll pack their bags, and they'll leave for home. They will not do anything else. They will not come up with brilliant ideas and suggest something which may be done in a better manner. They are not the out of the box thinkers. They will not provide solutions. They will only mind their business and do whatever is necessary. And they are the kinds of people who say, I get paid for this, why should I do something more than this? So they are not motivated within themselves to take up any other task which may help them grow and also the company grow. I hope all of you are with me till here. Is my pace all right? Is there any feedback that I can get?
Going good, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much. So now that we're talking about the types of employees, and I'd like to know which sector or which type of an employer, if I have to say a particular area, who do you think may have a very high level of engagement? This is as per certain studies that I had gone through. So I found out that certain employees or certain sectors have high engagement rates. In your opinion, can anybody tell me any answers for this? I will give you one example. What do you think about the military? Don't you think they are maximum? I mean, they have a very high, or even I could say 100% engagement, because they're serving our country and they will be 100% on the field, whether they're going to see the sunlight the next day or not. What is your take on it? Is anybody in the IT sector here who's part of the class? Of course, one of them I just spoke to some time ago, but it is found that usually in the IT sector, we have very low engagement rates. The reasons could be plenty. It could be the work hours, it could be the remote working environment, it could be the perks and the benefits, it could be certain aspects of promotion. There are multiple reasons as to why an employee is disengaged, but as per surveys which I read in Forbes, and there's also a Gallup study which has been done of workplace environments, and as per this particular report and study, opinions of workplace environments were studied across 250 countries, across 250 companies. And also there are various other such surveys which is being done. And immediately they found that certain sectors automatically have a low level of engagement. Okay, now moving on to employee engagement process. Now that this is a cause of concern, because as we know that not every employee is actively involved. Even if somebody is giving you an opportunity to do something, you may refuse it. Please think about an occasion where you have refused taking up an opportunity, where you have stopped yourself telling that I think I'm overdoing things which may be not required. Maybe you might have thought that I'm not getting paid more for this. Why should I do it? This is not part of my job profile. I don't get recognition because if I do this work, nobody is going to notice me. So everything seems to be like a transactional process. Nothing is thought beyond, I mean, the bigger picture is not seen sometimes when employees engage with the organization. So usually leaders emerge who find an opportunity in certain situations like this, and that's when you are able to grow. So next time when you're finding or sensing an opportunity, please grab it with open arms, because there is a clear link between organization's performance and employee engagement as well. So of course your appraisals also will go really good if you do something more than what is your job description. There is always something which is not immediately going to get into your know-how of what is something which is going to be projected in front of your superiors. So you can definitely do something now without hoping for an immediate or an instant reward, because the generation right now, the way things are going on, it works on instant gratification. So I work, I need something back immediately. So that's not the positive employment engagement approach. So what you do now may definitely help you in the near future. So definitely see the bigger picture. And that's what HR departments today have to really instill into every employee. So every organization who's seeking sustenance and growth in the ever-changing world of quickly who respond to the needs of the employee, along with designing the mechanisms what is needed to improve the employee engagement process. So today companies are realizing this, and That's the problem, right? There's so much of pressure today for every companies and departments to perform too much with too less, right? So with less manpower, with very less resources, they are expected to deliver really great results. So that is quite a lot of pressure. So how does the organizations manage this? And that too with a limited set of people whose engagement process is not in the way it is supposed to be. So that's why HR management has to work really hard to prepare and design a plan in terms of understanding and identifying what exactly the employees want and what is that which is stopping them to be actively engaged. In a very casual manner, you could create or design employee engagement surveys, and sometimes a serious one where you're asking certain specific questions on various parameters. And when you prepare this questionnaire and circulate it amongst the employees, you will be in a position to understand and learn where are the pitfalls in the organization, the barriers or the roadblocks which is coming in the way of your employees to be completely engaged in your organization. So you will definitely be able to derive the results. So once you are able to accumulate the data which you have gathered through your employees, you will be in a position to analyze this data, and you will definitely know where exactly you stand. You will know the status of your company and your employees. Is there anything which has to be done from the company's side? Any repair mechanisms that has to be adopted? So you will definitely do action planning, and you will take up all the steps and the procedures to kind of get the situation better, so that this particular exercise doesn't become a fault finding exercise, and it ends up completely, which is very positive for the company. So the implications of doing this particular task should lead to a positive outcome. And definitely just by merely planning is not enough. You must also follow up on the actions that has been taken, and if that is resulting in a positive engagement process. So that is something which is what I have explained right now, because definitely we need to know what is exactly what is motivating the employees. You could even take external help. Maybe you could involve certain psychologists, you could get certain experts or some kind of a consulting firm to do this particular task if you feel your HR department is not equipped to do so. So anything which is going to motivate your employee, anything which is stopping them from disengaging, definitely should be a reason, a compelling reason for a management to look into this matter as an utmost priority. So any manager, whether it is the line managers of HR or whether it is the HR director, everyone should initiate actions, immediate actions, so that we don't have any employee who would want to leave the organization or making others leave the organization. So this particular exercise will definitely give the right direction. And even if it's not producing the desired results, at least somewhere the employees are going to feel heard, and somewhere down the lane measures could be taken. Now, moving on to the next topic of elements of employee engagement. Now, we have 4 elements which is going to be discussed right now. So the first level of element that we're going to see is commitment. Now, commitment is definitely internal in nature. Every employee, end of the day, is an individual, and they associate themselves with the job, the responsibilities, and the organizational objectives. So this extent varies from employee to employee. And that's why we would say low level of commitment, high level of commitment. Why would you decorate a certain employee with a lot of accolades, awards, and recognition? Primarily because they are highly committed employees of the organization, right? And they are self-motivated. They don't need motivation to come from an external body, right? So this is an important level of employee engagement, which determines whether an employee is positively engaged or negatively engaged. Moving on to motivation. Up until recently, it was believed that the biggest motivation is achievement. So if an employee has a sense of achievement that, yes, I did this, they will be highly motivated to be part of this organization. If you change their job role or maybe transfer them, or maybe a project has been removed from them, this could maybe completely demotivate them. It is seen that, employees in Japan are extremely hardworking. If you've read certain articles, you would realize that the work-life balance of the Japanese employees are not really good. They are somebody who even stay back in the work and sleep, and they try to continue their work if they don't feel that they've achieved something, what is meant to be done. So they get really demotivated if they don't achieve their targets. So they overwork sometimes. So the sense of motivation is completely different, and there are various attributes to this. It also depends on person to person. It also depends from geographical region to region. So various demographic variables are going to work upon the level of motivation, which is going to influence your engagement level either positively or negatively. So the reverse also is true. That is, which means that achievement results in more motivation. And of course, if you don't achieve, you will get demotivated as well. So either ways of the, extreme end, you will see that motivation sometimes is going to properly work in your favor, and sometimes it's going to act as a spoil sport. So proper rewards, recognition can further motivate an employee to achieve more. And that's why you would notice these days in various service sector, sorry, various service sector, wherever there's a front facing roles or job roles. Like if you just take a simple example of a KFC or a McDonald's, you will always notice somewhere near the billing counter, you would notice an entire frame set of employees who have been recognized for being the employer of the month. And of course, in our field, we will see a lot of males coming in for Hall of Fame awards and, star performers being recognized. And sometimes you have a town hall meet at the end of the year with an offsite where they're recognizing you with medals and maybe things in kind or in cash, or maybe, an incentive also, which comes to your bank account. So constantly this is being done because the ones who's performing has to do better, and the ones who are not doing can probably take cues and kind of emulate certain good things what is being done by the other employees. So that's the second element. Moving on to the third element, we have loyalty. And loyalty is again something which is very characteristic. I would say it is part of the upbringing. It could be, imbibed. It could be learned. It is not something where somebody is born with it. It depends on the affinity and affiliations that an employee has. So there are a lot of companies who are ranked as best places to work, but they are definitely somebody who takes care of the employee as an asset of the organization. So automatically, the companies are already earning the loyalties of the employees. These are those companies who believe that their employees are themselves the brand ambassadors of the company. So if you keep your employee happy, automatically they're going to keep your client or customer happy. That's the kind of philosophy or an organizational philosophy that some companies work. So automatically keep them so happy that they're going to think twice to leave a company. Even if I have to give you my own personal experience, I was associated in a company for 10 years. Not that I was anyway less talented that I wouldn't get job elsewhere, but then 10 years in a company is a big deal in today's world, right? When usually employees keep changing jobs often, something had worked well for an employee to stick to a company for that long. You would have people whose first and last job also is the same. But there are other versions to it where they'll say, you really don't grow if you're in one company and things like that. So let's not get into that kind of a debate. But what I'm trying to say is there are high level of engaged employees who definitely show more loyalty. They have a tendency to show more loyalty towards the organization. Such employees need less focus and attention of the managers to perform their task. So why is the statement important is the usually disengaged lot of employees take away a lot of time of the managers. They're always having issues, problems, and the managers have to keep solving these problems all the time. And a lot of productive time goes away on such kind of employees. So on the other hand, actively engaged employees are not going to waste the time of the managers, so that the time can be used for a better cause. And they definitely take accountability of their own jobs and responsibilities until the results are attained. They are that loyal to the company. And the last element of employee engagement is trust. Now, trust is something which is definitely a belief. It is a notion that an actively engaged employee is having such kind of qualities where there is some sense of a trust which prevails in both the organizational side and also the employee's side. So there is a strong element of trust between both the stakeholders here. As they share a strong emotional bond with the organization, the latter should also show trust in their abilities. So when a task is being assigned to you, somebody is trusting you that you could deliver it and execute it in the best and the optimal level possible. So that's the kind of trust you have to earn it. And at the same time, you need to trust. In an era today of hybrid working and remote working from home option, which has been extended even during the post-pandemic, many companies are coming up with the employment monitoring softwares. I'm not sure if your companies do. There might be some mechanisms which is being adopted for checking whether you're really working in the system or probably doing your personal work. Recently, there was a case, I think in Canada, where an employee was fired due to time theft. And the court case happened, and whatever it is, the company had to sue the employee, where she had to pay around easily more than 3 lakh of rupees for the company, because they kind of won the case, even though they have various other reasons to say. So like this, that means the companies are not trusting their employees. That is one way to take it. Second way is there is a tendency for a human being to probably get distracted and do other things when you're in a environment where you're not getting monitored directly. So if it's not an in-place environment, in-person environment, monitoring, then obviously in a remote setup, things get difficult. So they might be task-based things which is given, and it is trusted that you would complete that and get back. So it's all about how a company functions with their employees, and it all boils down at the end of the day of trust. Is there any questions at this moment, or can I move on to the last topic for the day? Any questions? I'm willing to take in your experience. Anybody who'd like to share your experience related to any colleague or your own personal experience related to employee engagement levels? Anyone who'd like to share any personal experiences about what's happening in your organization? Please feel free to share your insights. It'll be very interesting because a lot of you are working professionals. Because it is definitely a common understanding of the vast majority of leaders out there in the world that employees are companies' most important assets, right? And when they are an asset, it is very important for us to grow faster with such assets. And with such resource management, which is happening in the world, we need to understand the fundamentals of employee engagement. So whether it is a battlefield or whether it is your own departments that you all are working for, you need to find out, did your companies do any attempt to find out how engaged you all are? Was there any survey which was done in your organization? Anything related to do with this topic? Anyone who'd like to share any insights on this? Yes, Mr. Dheeraj. I'm not able to hear you. Okay, can anybody tell me what do you think would be the reasons of maybe low engagement levels in your own setup, without probably taking your company's name? You could share something, what you feel or what you have sensed around. What would be the factors of low engagement? Anyone? Sarlina? Maria? Yes,
Yeah.
Maria?
Hi.
Yeah, John.
So yes,
Yes.
yeah, John. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. John,
So
please tell me.
yeah. So what I feel is like most of the time they think that talent acquisition is there till the backup. So even if an employee is there or not, that so most of the in my career in I have around 10 years of experience, and
Okay.
in this, I have noted this only, like they don't really care for an employee. So they think that if he comes, he comes. If he goes, let him go. We can talent acquisition backup. That's it.
Okay.
They are majorly looking into.
Yes, Mr. John. I think perfect. Rightly said. I think this is a perennial problem that we are seeing in most organizations today, where probably in theory it looks good when I say that an employee, if treated as an asset, really works for the company and would not want to even think of leaving the company. But unfortunately, these days employees are seen somebody else. If you go, somebody else is going to come. So the value is diminishing is what we are seeing. But what about companies which are great places to work? Maybe companies like Google and other places where they create an ecosystem where it's shown that everyone is very happy, an average employee is there for a very long time. What's your take in companies who are getting awarded with such great trophies and things like that? Is it completely based on company to company, or is it also a big role of the HR department, or the policies are done like this?
Okay. So that question, there are two things. So something that is called GP2W, that is a survey they do, and to get that survey done, each company and to get into the Forbes, they really do some homework. And even if they don't have data, they try to build up a data and they bring it just to get into a place like Great Place to Work Award 16, 17, 21, like that. They participate in that particular years and they try to grab the from that. So that is one thing, but not saying that that is fake, but most of the time 50-60 kind of things are happening. And one more thing, when you say about like a tier one companies or a top companies ecosystem or environment, I mean, frankly, uh, there are to an extent, I mean, they are good, and at times they are not also. That depends on team wise, I would say, because if you ask me, currently I work for Ola, and I know what I'm going through. That so already even I'm in a plan to move actually from here. So this is my thoughts actually.
Okay, Mr. John. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and thoughts. That's really great. I think that's coming right from the heart and your own personal experiences. There are definitely, it's very interesting to see that most of this data could be fudged to just get these awards and probably get the limelight. But nobody has probably done a root cause analysis and deep down as to whether what can be done to kind of elevate this low engagement problem. So whether any companies for that matter today, is it only a transactional relationship? Is there something that could be done beyond to really human resource policies care? Because the talent is something, the vast pool of talent that is getting generated year on year. So what is the value that the existing employees have in an organization is definitely a thought to ponder. And another important target of any HR department is to retain their existing staff. So the attrition rate should definitely be low, and they should definitely try to retain their existing talent. That is definitely a difficult goal, seeing how things are. And with the gig economy, which is getting, more rising over the days with the hybrid system. I think this gig economy also is something which is going to increase the amount of freelance work that's coming in the job market. That is also going to pose a threat for employee level of engagements. So is there any freelancer here who is working? Or everyone is tied up to a company? So probably we could have some thoughts from you as well. There could be a reason that because of a low level of employee engagement, they decided to probably start a freelance of their own. So overall, if I have to sum up, every company should have a clear-cut strategy and a policy for better level of employee engagements. And I hope these elements and basic fundamental concepts, I was able to do some justice for you to understand that the significance of employee engagement in organizations. And if you are going to work in this sector, or if you're already an employee, you will be coming across directly or indirectly related to employee engagement practices. And it's worth to probably take this forward to the next level. And maybe in the companies you're working, you could take up some steps to figure out if something can be done. And to probably, at least to start off with, we can all be an active employee, at least if the circumstances are all right. Okay, with that note, from my side, I have concluded my lecture. If there's any other final observations or questions, I'm completely open for questions now. Thank you so much. Any questions? We'll use the last 2 minutes for this. Any questions or doubt? I hope the concept is clear. I understand you have another class after this, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it was a pleasure handling your class, and I'm looking forward for such sessions in the future as well. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant weekend ahead.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.